Hey guys, welcome to our weekly GBlue stream. Hope you guys are all having a great week and a great day so far today. It's our second stream on the Abstract portal, so welcome all of our friends on Abstract. Got a big stream for you guys today. We've been pushing through all kinds of milestones, and we got a lot of things coming up in the immediate future that's gonna, I think, really send GBlue. So make sure you stick around to the end to hear about all of it. And also, we're doing a 20 GBlue giveaway this stream. So the best question or comment on Abstract Portal, we're going to be picking a winner before the stream's over. And yeah, we'll be sending those 20 GBlue to you right live on stream. So make sure to get some good questions and comments in. I do want this stream to be as, provide as much feedback as you guys can. I'm always looking to improve our offerings or the ways that we're doing things. So definitely would love to get as much feedback from you guys as we can get. So before we get into the alpha, I just wanted to go over some of the features that we've released recently. We've introduced a lot of new stuff, and I know that last stream was about 2 hours long. We had a ton to go over. So I think we should start off just by kind of going over, what GBlue is about real quick, and, just kind of the easiest ways to get involved with the protocol. Good morning, guys. We got a question here. When I LP GBlue ETH, I'm taking impermanent loss risk plus GBlue price risk. What's the most honest answer to the community recurring question? Do rebases offset impermanent loss? Let's address that a little bit later in the stream. It's a question I've answered quite a few times in Telegram, but I'll give you guys a good answer later on. Got some comments flowing in from Abstract as well. Love to see it. Let's go, guys. All right, so let me share my screen here. So firstly, congratulations everyone in the community. We've been doing great. We keep pushing through new milestones. We've over 400,000 liquidity on Abstract now. We recently got over 20,000 total GBlue on Abstract. We're at 20,400 GBlue on Abstract with 415 holders. So great progress there. I think over half of the total blue supply is on Abstract via GBlue. So that's really awesome to see. But yeah, I mean, let's just get right into it. Why should people want to enter, and what's the easiest way to enter? Firstly, our GBlue.xyz site. This is a site that was geared for Abstract users or anyone that's interacting with the GBlue protocol through Abstract. So I know a lot of the guys that have been in the project since the very beginning, or even when we first introduced the expansion to Abstract and our, everything that we got going on with Aborian, a lot of guys got used to accessing everything on our main website through the Aborian page, which, I mean, this all works fine. If you prefer to do it this way, you can. It's just that if you're directly interacting with Abstract, you're probably going to have a better time using the GBlue XYZ site. It's just a little bit easier to use. It's got, a little bit better stats. It's got daily rewards with US dollars amounts, and it's just overall just a cleaner site that is easier to use and easier to show off to people. The main Blue site, it definitely still is great and has a lot of more advanced functionality, especially for guys that are on the BNB side. You definitely need to do all that BNB specific stuff on the main Blue site, but highly recommend, if you guys haven't checked out some of these other sites that we have really easy navigation now to go between the sites. Just use this drop down that you can find at the top of all of our sites. So that way you can navigate easily between the sites. But yeah, I'd definitely suggest checking out GBlue if you guys haven't. And again, so the two main offerings that we have with GBlue, I mean, for one, it's just a token that, it's an auto rebasing token, that all that happens on BNB chain. So it's a token that we've seen appreciate in value. So it's a great token just to hold on to if that's what you want to do. But with everything that we've introduced on Abstract through Aborian, there's a lot of extra potential for earning. Hey, you got some comments coming through on the Abstract side. Welcome, guys. Happy to have you on the stream. So just to break down the offering, super simple. Basically, for one, I feel it's one of the best risk reward opportunities in crypto. The APR that we're providing on our LP on Abstract is 230%, and that's with over 400,000 TVL sharing that APR. So really incredible rewards on an asset that's been appreciating. I mean, if we pull open Dune, thanks Coffee, by the way, for making this, but we got a nice little chart here that shows the LP price since about January 1st. That's the orange line. And we've got the Vault token. They're both obviously doing amazing. And this is showing the ratio of the Vault to the LP token. So that's for guys that are involved in the vaults. I see a lot of questions coming through. I'm going to get to those in a bit. I think last AMA I was a little bit all over the map with answering questions throughout stuff. So I'll do a little session a bit later answering all the questions. But yeah, considering what the LP's been doing price wise and the insane rewards that you're able to earn on it, it's I think it is one of the best risk reward ratios in crypto. And keep in mind, this is a V2 style LP. This is full range, so that's really limits your impermanent loss compared to having to do concentrated liquidity and having a tight range where if you have a wild price swing, all of a sudden you're only in one asset and you're have severe impermanent loss. We have a lot of liquidity for our market cap. I think our market cap is just shy of 500,000 right now, and we have over 400,000 of liquidity on Abstract. So that combined with where was I going with that? Basically, yeah, it's the V2 LP being full range and our huge liquidity. It makes the price very stable. So it's really quite the ultimate asset to be using for farming. And again, I see a lot of questions coming up. I'm going to hit those in a little bit. But yeah, so I mean, so that's really the ultra basics about GBlue. But the two main ways that you're going to earn with it are either directly through a Borean. Everything's powered by a Borean on the Abstract side, but essentially you can do regular LP staking, which basically means that you enter the LP and you earn ABX tokens. With those ABX tokens, there's a lot of different things you can do, such as my preference is locking them up, and then there's a whole extra angle of how you can earn with that, and I'll maybe get into that a bit later. But essentially, this is just your standard, LP staking. You enter the position and you earn ABX. If you have LP tokens, you can deposit and withdraw right here. If you don't have LP tokens yet, we got a really simple zap in. So you can zap in from ETH or from GBlue right on our zap page. Or, I mean, if you want to swap, you could even swap right on our site. So we've tried to make it as easy as possible so people can just arrive at gblue.xyz and just kind of do everything that they need to do right from here. And all this stuff is actually using Aborian contracts. So like our Zap is going through the Aborian router, our swap is using the Aborian router. So everything related to like regular LP staking is actually all using Aborian contracts, and we're just kind of leveraging that and giving you guys a nice interface to interact with it. So basically, yeah, that pretty much sums up the earn page. This is basically just another portal into what you could already do on the Aborian website with a couple extra features like the zapping. Something that we introduced more recently was the vaults. So the vault is basically just built on top of regular LP staking. It works very similarly, but instead of paying you out in ABX tokens, it's actually, the website says it's 4 times a day, but it's actually 8 times a day now that it takes those ABX rewards and it compounds it to build your LP position bigger. So with that, you get to benefit from compound interest. And that's why you can see that our vault APY is almost 900% versus the 230% on the gauge. And again, this is all powered from the exact same thing. It's just that the vault is factoring in compound interest over the course of a year. So the vault is really for people that just want to, kind of enter, set it and forget it. There's a lot of different ways to enter the vault. We've built rails to be able to enter the vault from 5 different chains with a simple single transaction USDC deposit. I'll show off that in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that kind of sums up the main offering right now. And, that's really what I'm super bullish on and what I think a lot of people in the community are super bullish on. And we got so much more coming that it's just going to really make things absolutely explode. Let me get through a couple questions before we move on. Let me hit the Abstract chain side first. Sorry, I can't show these on the screen, but so we've got a question. Ovaults, how does multi-chain access affect tokenomics, like liquidity pools across chains or cross-chain staking rewards? Yeah, great question. So this is like and sorry if I'm going to get a little bit technical here, but this is what I really love so much about the solution that we put into place, because so we have over $400,000 of liquidity on Abstract. So the only way that we could automate allowing deposits from other chains was basically to basically the way that it works. And actually, I guess I'll go to the site to show you guys. So we support all these chains that you see up top. So let's just say you're I don't know, a user on Base. You can deposit USDC from Base, and this doesn't require us to have any liquidity on Base. What this does is this bridges USDC over to Abstract. It attaches a message and logic that executes on Abstract. So this will take that USDC, enter the LP position, put it in the vault, and then it bridges you back the position back to Base. So someone that's not familiar with Abstract, or they're not comfortable trying out other chains, they can deposit USDC on any of the chains that we support, and Abstract sees those inflows. The LP gets those inflows, and the vault receipt token is automatically bridged back to them on their native chain. And then the same thing goes in reverse. Let me zoom in a bit. I got a couple shares here on Base. If I wanted to get USDC out, I can just say, okay, I want to redeem 6 shares. That's my output. And you're basically getting, besides having to pay a couple bucks in gas for the cross-chain logic to happen and all the bridging, you're getting the exact same outputs as if you did this on Abstract, because it's literally, when you're depositing, it's sending your USDC to Abstract, and it's entering the exact same as if you zapped in with USDC on Abstract. And same with redeeming, it's doing the same thing in reverse. But the only difference is there's a couple bridge transactions in between. So yeah, so I mean that's kind of like probably a little bit more information than you needed, but that's how we're able to offer deposits and withdrawals on all these different chains while still having all of our liquidity on Abstract. Our liquidity is not fragmented across a bunch of different chains. It's not fragmented across a bunch of different pools. We're really building one really, really strong pool. Hey, my friend, we got another couple comments here. Learning about GBlue. Where can I find tokenomics for the token, like supply? So we got docs on all of our pages. Pretty thorough. For the hardcore stuff, you're going to want to check out the main Blue site. So there's some tokenomics here. This should be relatively up to date. I mean, actually to answer, I see another question coming up from you. To answer like what Blue is an Olympus DAO fork. So Blue is like an auto rebasing token, which you can see here. It's earning 1.3% per day with auto rebases. GBlue is the staked wrapped version of Blue. So what that means is that GBlue is automatically receiving these rebases. And the reason I say wrapped is because your regular staked Blue actually earns rebases. Your token count goes up every 4 hours. With GBlue, you get the same benefit, but it just kind of tracks it differently. It tracks it via a staking index. So basically, like you can actually see that right on the GBlue site. So every 4 hours, this index increases. And this is how many Blue you can redeem or exchange for one GBlue. And this was around 16 or 17 when we first bridged over to Abstract. And I mean, the Blue price is increasing as well. It's not just GBlue. So not only are you getting, again, you can do everything on Abstract without ever having to worry about BNB chain or anything that's happening under the hood there. But essentially, you got an appreciating token here. And on GBlue, you have more and more Blue per GBlue every 4 hours. So no, it's not a meme coin. It's a reserve currency. We're building a huge treasury. Somebody else asked what the market cap is. Market cap, this is the true market cap to look at. I mean, this should always be fairly accurate. The way I like to look at the market cap is actually the way that we calculate it on the GBlue site, because essentially what this is looking at is the total supply of Blue, because every GBlue on Abstract originated from BNB chain. So the true total supply is on BNB chain, but because our liquidity is so much thicker on Abstract, we I think it's a more accurate representation of the market cap to look at the price on abstract, but we have to extrapolate that to like the actual total supply of the token. So that's why you'll see the market cap here, 490K, shows a little bit higher than we show over here. We show 350K here because that's only what's actually on chain. So actually, to be honest, I think they messed up these numbers a little bit. I think this is actually what's on abstract, and this is the total supply of GBlue. So that would include what's on BNB chain as well as abstract. But neither of these numbers include like blue that's not GBlue. So, so yeah, for a true accurate market cap, you can look at the market cap on the actual blue token, or I think more accurately, this is probably the best number to look at here. All right, let's see what other comments we got. I'm going to go through all the abstract ones before I move on to the ones on our regular stream. Cloud says, it's exciting to see Blue Protocol expanding as a multi-chain DeFi powerhouse. What upcoming features or integrations are you most enthusiastic about that will enhance yield for users? I got a lot of alpha coming up later in the stream, so hold tight. I'll get to that soon. Next question was, what is the market cap? I already addressed that. Where do the first Blue Millions party take place? I don't know, probably on a yacht somewhere. We'll have to figure that out when we get closer. Got another question here. What metrics do you track for success overall? There's a lot of things I look at. I mean, obviously the chart is one indicator. It's not, always the best indicator, but certainly the chart has given us a good indication of, the sentiment around the project. And with crypto markets being, I know we've seen a little bit of an uptick in the very short recent term. Just the performance of GBlue through these rocky markets really is a great indicator of the momentum and everything that we've got going on, and how people are feeling about the project and their confidence in the project. But I look at a lot of other things too. I look at liquidity, I look at inflows, I look at how our bonding markets are doing on BNB chain, I look at web traffic, I look at holder count, I really look at a lot of things, to be honest. But and price is not the most important thing. Everybody always loves seeing a green chart, but I know that what we're building is going to really send GBlue, especially when we can get a run on the alts. So I'm not really too concerned about what the chart's doing in the short term, although I definitely obviously love when it's just straight up and to the right like it has been lately. Last comment we got here on abstract is, getting tracked on DeFiLlama is a big win for transparency. Congrats. Are there any new partnerships or listings on the horizon that could boost visibility even further? Yeah, I mean, we've done a bunch of listings recently. We just got on CoinGecko. Let's pull that up actually, because it's looking quite nice. So we just got listed on CoinGecko. That was a big one for us. We got on DeFiLlama. Abscan is properly tracking everything now. So if we go here, or I guess I should go here. Abscan's tracking our token price properly. Obviously, they were already tracking everything else properly, but that's a huge listing for us. DeFiLlama, I've got plans to expand the data that they have. Right now, they're just showing our staked TVL. Actually, why don't I just pull that up? DeFiLlama. Blue Protocol. So they're not tracking as much data as I want them to be tracking. I've got to update our adapter, but I got a couple things I got to just get in place first. But yeah, I mean, it's just showing, essentially what our TVL is and how much is staked. And yeah, can't wait to get more data on here for you guys to analyze. Got some questions here. Are you working on getting the chain verified on, or the token verified on abstract? So we're already on abstract portal. I think there is a check mark that we're maybe missing. Yeah, we've got to get that. I've got to reach out to get that fixed, but I'm already in contact with the abstract team, a few guys there. So getting some help there, and yeah, really enjoying the support I've been given, and looking forward to working even closer with the team there. Yeah, I mean, it just says here the token lacks sufficient public visibility information. So I think I just, got to request that to get updated because I mean, there's not too much more visible we can be. We're on CoinGecko, Abscan, proper deck screener listing. I think we're about as verified as we can get. So um, yeah, I think we can definitely get that fixed. All right, got another question here. If you have time, could you quickly walk us through your recommended strategy to lock our ABX tokens on a Borean financed app? What is the ideal length of time to lock up ABX tokens? Yeah, sure. I'll go over that. Another comment. I think unverified token LP on a Borean get less XP. Okay. Well, yeah, definitely we should get that sorted out then. So we need everybody earning as much XP as they possibly can get. Yeah, and I'd love to have our vaults included in XP as well. I can start some discussions about that in the near future. I think, I don't think anybody really knows exactly how the XP works, but I think liquidity LP staked gets you XP. So using our regular earn feature or just regular LP staking, I think gets you XP. And again, like, if you're, one thing I will say is like the vault, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but like the vault is auto selling your ABX to build your LP position every 4 hours or every 3 hours, sorry. And if you're as bullish on ABX as I am, you might not want that to happen. You might want to manually earn your ABX, which you can do on the earn tab. So you can see like I got this. This is actually the deployer wallet. I'm going to go over this later. So we're building a position on Abstract for the protocol. So we've got like 125,000 in the treasury on BNB chain. And I'm working to really build up the treasury on the Abstract side. And I think we're around 100,000 now on the Abstract side. So for less than 500,000 market cap token to have a treasury of around 200,000 is pretty incredible. And we're going to keep actively building that. But yeah, I'll show you guys the status of the treasury on Abstract in a second. Man, I wish I knew how to pronounce your name. Is it Fangu? Tell me if I'm saying that wrong. But you said, I'm planning to just LP GBlue and V2 and just use my voting to vote for GBlue. Hoping for a pullback to buy. Fangu. Okay, cool. Saying that right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the best options, right? Just, jump into the V2 LP. Well, again, like all the stuff here is powered by the V2 LP, but again, like, I know you have some nice ABX positions and I think you're going to do really, really well with those. But I mean, obviously you're bullish on ABX just like I am. So I think, yeah. And again, you can do all of this directly on the Aborian site too. I mean, just to show you, I'm about to show another demo of the Aborian site in a second. So I'll just pull that open. But this is the same wallet that I've got connected, or was it here? So you can see, I've got 63K in this position. If I pop over to the liquidity page, you're going to see I have the exact same thing here. Right. So, so you can enter this position manually. You can do everything through the Aborian site. We just kind of wanted to give people an easier way to kind of understand what we're all about and ways to zap in. I know the Aborian site doesn't yet have a way to zap into V2 LPs, and that's probably going to be coming soon. But yeah, just for those extra stats, extra ease of use, extra features with zapping, you can definitely do all that on the GBlue site. Vangu says, I want some XP as well. That's why. Yep. A lot of guys farming that XP. How high can the treasury get? What is the next 3-month target for treasury? So I guess I'll just touch on that briefly. And I got to remember to go back to that question about the ABX tokens. But so the treasury building is going incredibly well, right? So we introduced these 2 bonding markets on the BNB chain side, and sorry for you Abstract guys if you guys don't care about this, but the bonding markets are basically us offering blue tokens at a discount, which mints new tokens, but it builds the treasury at the same time. And I've been using the funds that we've been receiving from these bonding markets to build up our position on Aborian on Abstract. So these bonding markets have enabled us to, build up 100,000 on Abstract that's protocol owned. And I think, with the demand that we have for Blue and GBlue at the moment, I think, we can continue to have bond markets once these conclude. And I've got another exciting update Another exciting update about bonding coming later in the AMA. So, but to answer your question, how big can the treasury get? I think it can continue to grow at a rapid pace, and I'd love to have the treasury be almost as big as the market cap. I mean, that's, I guess, the dream, right? But we'll see how big we can get it. Fangu says, so LP on Aborian probably the best option for me. Yep, I mean I think that's the best option for most people. But again, like I said, I mean, you can do all that right through the GBlue site. It's the exact same as dealing with it on Aborian. But I mean, obviously, feel free to do it however you like. All right, let me go back to the earlier question. Recommended strategy to lock your ABX. I mean, again, I'm on the protocol wallet right now, but I'll just show you. Actually, I'll just show you the whole process of what I usually do. So we got $300 worth of ABX we can claim here. Let's claim that. So, and again, this position was built. Let me zoom in a bit so it's easier for you guys to see. This position was built purely from farming the LP. The protocol doesn't sell ABX. It will never sell ABX. So all the ABX we earn is going into locks. So what I do is, just because I'm not 100% sure about if the bonus counts if you increase your lock. So, I mean, just to show you guys what I do, I'll just create a lock. Always max lock it. That's the way you get max value out of it, right? So like 24,000 ABX, if you want your, voting power to be 1-to-1 with your amount that you're locking up, you have to do a max lock. Anything else doesn't make sense in my opinion. So I just go for a max lock. So I'm just going to submit that. Now, so what I typically do is I typically merge this into my main lock because I don't want to manage a bunch of locks. If you do want to keep your lock separate for whatever reason, what I would do here is I would go extend this to permanent. That's basically just switching it to tell the lock that says, hey, keep this lock max locked at that maximum 4 years. So you don't have to keep extending the duration every week. It just gives you basically like the perfect 1-to-1 voting power with your locked ABX amount. So if I was going to manage this lock separately, I would be enabling this. You can disable this after when you want, but that's what I'd be doing if I was keeping the lock separate. But since I just prefer to manage one lock, I would just go merge and I would just grab the lock and I would just merge that right in. So I think that answered your question. Ideal length of time to lock up, yeah, always max lock. So keep in mind, when you max lock your ABX, you can't withdraw that ABX. But I think, again, ABX, I know a lot of you guys are super bullish on ABX. I'm incredibly bullish about the future for ABX, and this can earn you passive income in perpetuity, right? You can just keep earning passive income with voting rewards. And of course, you can vote on the GBlue pool, which gets you great voting rewards because I've been putting a lot of bribes into that to get us a lot of votes. And you're improving the emissions on our gauge when you do that. So it just tons of benefits. And GBlue already is dual stack rewards in the sense of GBlue earns you every 4 hours just intrinsically goes up in value just because of its interactions with Blue on BNB chain. But then you have the Aborian LPs where you can earn ABX, and now you can take that ABX and have a third layer of rewards with voting rewards. So pretty incredible for those that want to get that involved in it. And I think it's definitely worth learning and going through those extra steps. All right, let's catch up on some more questions. What's the most common mistake you see users making when they LP GBlue on Abstract without fully accounting for rebase timing and reward stacking? I mean, there's not really too many mistakes you can make. Like I don't know if I'd call it a mistake, but if you have a bunch of GBlue, I mean, ideally you would pair that up with ETH and, create your LP that way. That way you're not selling half your GBlue by zapping it in. Not really a mistake. I mean, some people might have GBlue that they got from voting rewards or from bonding or, something else, and they don't have ETH to pair up with it. So in that case, I mean, it's perfectly fine to zap in GBlue, but I mean, there's not, the whole purpose of the zapping is really to make it so it's not possible to make a mistake, right? We're calculating slippage for you. We're doing everything behind the scenes to make it so you just pick your input amount and we make sure you get a good output amount. And that's pretty much it. Another question, looking at everything you have used and seen in GBlue since 2025 into early 2026, what unexpected insight, either good or bad, stands out most about how the ecosystem is evolving and where it needs to go next? Um, I mean, I think Abstract's just been it's been an absolute pleasure expanding to Abstract. It's just, an idea I had one day. I said, let's take GBlue multi-chain, and that was, I don't know, only a month or so ago, and now we've built so much more on top of just having GBlue over on Abstract. So, I think that what we're doing is working extremely well, and I'm going to keep doing everything that's working well, but also improving a lot of the stuff that we've already built and introducing a lot of new things. And again, once I stop answering questions, I'll be able to get into some of the alpha. But yeah, a lot coming up. Fangu says, "Love to learn more. Please educate us." Yeah, I love talking crypto. I love educating. So feed me the questions, and I will keep educating. Okay, another question here. Now that OVault is live, what is the next upgrade that experienced users will actually feel? Better profit and loss breakdown, faster settlement, more strategies, deeper LP automation. Which one moves retention the most? I mean, I think what we need at the moment is we need a better user experience. We need it, I think, myself being an engineer that's been involved in this for as long, not like a real engineer, I'm a, crypto developer, degen, but I think for me, like I think the way I display things is probably a little bit too technical for most people. So there's a lot of things I'm going to talk about a little bit later in the AMA that are going to really improve this. But to give you a short answer, I just think that our offering needs to be simpler, and it needs to be it just needs to people have to be able to just kind of grasp what it's about, the benefits, and just have a really easy way to enter without um having complicated technical jargon, or we don't want people to visit our site and then all of a sudden have five more questions, right? We want to give them the information that they need to feel confident to enter. And yeah, so I think really just the user experience and just the overall UI is the next major upgrade that would take the OVault to the next level. Another question here. Do you lock tokens within the ABX rewards at all, or only under the VE ABX Maxi Vault? I mean, the VE ABX Maxi Vault's great, but personally, I'm a GBlue Maxi. I vote on GBlue. So I mean, when you use the VE ABX Maxi, you're getting a great APR, but you're not choosing what you're voting on, and your rewards are building your VE ABX position, which is amazing, right? VE ABX is great. But personally, I like to vote on GBlue, which let's throw in a vote right now. So for anyone that hasn't seen voting before, this is how you vote. You pick your lock, and I haven't bribed yet, so we're not at the top of the list right now. Nope, there's my lock. I pick the pool I want to vote for. I vote, hit 100%, and put that through. Fangu says, glad to have you guys here. Well, thanks for the warm welcome. You guys have been really welcoming, the whole community and the team. A lot of the guys on the Abstract team have been really great, and it's been a real pleasure to work with everybody. Congrats crossing 400K liquidity in the GBlue ETH pool on Aborian. That's massive depth building. How has this improved spreads and volume? And what do you think the next big liquidity milestone for strengthening the flywheel on Abstract? Yeah, I mean, like it's a V2 pool, so it's not ultra efficient liquidity like a concentrated liquidity pool. But having said that, we have a huge LP, especially relative to our market cap. So I think we'll just keep building liquidity, and I think we can hit 500K, we can hit 1 million in liquidity. We can keep hitting higher numbers than that. Yesterday we had a guy zap in 10K, and he's going to do really well with that investment. And that's the action that you saw on it, or that we saw on it with so a 10K zap in is a 5K buy. So we went from 1210 to 1275. So we've got a lot of liquidity, but we don't have so much, and we don't have it like concentrated to the point where our price can never move. So I think we got a great balance of stability, but also the ability for the price to continue moving up. Another question here. Is it possible to see if any vault locked VE ABX went to GBlue LP? It's any vault locked. So, so yeah, I'm really familiar with how all that works. I can tell you that no, the vaults didn't vote on GBlue. Um, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible to check it, but I can just tell you that I know that those votes this week, those votes went to Pengu, ETH, and also to ETH USDC. All right, caught up on the questions on Abstract. Let's maybe quickly catch up on the questions on our regular stream platforms, and then I'll get into some of the alpha. So we got the question about the impermanent loss. I'll touch on that a bit later. Actually, I guess I'll touch on that real quick right now. So again, this ties in a lot with the stuff that I was already talking about. We have a lot of liquidity, so extremely wild price moves are unlikely. So I mean, impermanent loss is a potential thing that you have to consider with any time you're providing liquidity. But again, with RLP and its stability and size and the amount of APR that you can earn on that position, it can offset a lot of the impermanent loss. Actually, I was looking up I think it was yesterday or the day before. I was just comparing, like, if you were in the vault, which is basically like if you're a regular LP farmer, you're earning ABX, but it's if you're just going to compare like how much you would have gained if you're just holding GBlue on its own versus staking it in an LP, it's good to look at the value of the vault because that's also factoring in the rewards that you're getting. Of course, if you're doing regular LP staking, you're still getting rewards, but it's just a little bit harder to do the math on that. So since December 30th, as of yesterday when I checked, GBlue was up 58%, and the vault itself was up a little over 50%. So, and that's we've had a lot of price movement, so that's why the GBlue token is outperforming the vault, even though the vault is doing exceptionally well. But yeah, I mean, I think for most people, like, I mean, if you're super bullish on GBlue and think it's going to absolutely moon, hold some GBlue on the side, right? You can, if you're already in the vault or the staking, you can zap out to GBlue if you want to, just to have some GBlue on the side for that 100% price exposure without impermanent loss. I think for most people, the comfort of being in an LP and the way that it cushions the price, right? So if GBlue does have some big action one way or the other, being in the LP is going to cushion that price movement for you. And of course, you're earning on it the entire time. So I think there's a lot of benefits to being in regular staking, to being in the vault, and also to holding some GBlue on the side. So I think probably for most people, a nice combination of the three would be a good option. Got some good mornings here. And I see good mornings are allowed on X again, so maybe I'll start doing some of those too. Hi, let's go. My second question. My biggest weakness complaint: there isn't one unified truth view across GBlue rebase growth, LP, profit and loss, and O-Vault share value. I mean, there kind of is, right? Like if you look on Dune, I mean, the source of truth for GBlue price is just the chart. This is telling you exactly, like, if you have one unit of LP, what was it worth before and what is it worth now? This is, the dollar value, which is factoring everything in. If you're in the vault, you got the same thing here as well, right? So this chart really is telling you everything. I think that, yeah, we can display things better on the website, so we can make things more uniform to have the right information that the users need to see more easily available, and maybe have like all the stats in one place, perhaps. So, I mean, there's a lot of work going to happen in that area to make it more transparent, just how much you're gaining, how much you're earning, and just historical performance. Are you thinking about a single portfolio view that reconciles all three without me doing spreadsheet math? I mean, you shouldn't really need to do spreadsheet math. Like, I mean, again, like, so if I pull up the protocol wallet that I'm using right now, let me just show you. Let's head over to the bank. So I've got positions on this wallet across pretty much everything that you can do in Blue and GBlue. So you can, Let me zoom in a bit more on this one. So, I mean, if you're in the vault on other chains, you can easily see the value. And again, I'm just showing you like where you can see it all at one glance, but you can also see this on the vault page. So if you go to positions here, you'll see the exact same thing. For each chain, what is your vault position? What's it worth? How many vault shares you have? What's the actual LP amount that equals to, and the US dollar value. The bank tracks this perfectly. So for all chains except for Abstract, you see it as a token, the GBlue token. This is your vault receipt token. So again, to compare 26.3 vault receipt tokens to, where was I? Right here. 26.3 vault shares, which again is 29 LPs, which is 12,100, which is pretty close to what you see here. And yeah, I mean, this is tracking everything, right? So this is what is in the farm earning right now. You can see that that's part of the Aborian finance section of the bank. And you can see the vault, right? So for the vault on Abstract, you can see that just under the GBlue protocol within the bank. But again, this is all mostly accessible. I think it's fully accessible between the vault page. This gives you all the details about the vault. So anything that you want to know about your vault positions are here, available, updated in real time. And on the I keep going to that one. On the GBlue site, you've got everything related to your staked LP that's not in a vault, right? And even actually, I updated the vault page on GBlue to actually show you all your stuff across all the chains. So I mean, so really you can see everything just strictly looking at these two tabs here. So I mean, I still think that possibly this can be improved and we can find a better way to display all this information, but you shouldn't need to use spreadsheets. You should have everything available for you. And, we got daily estimated earnings for regular staking and for the vault. So a lot of data available there. For someone who's already staking and providing LP, what's the biggest feature you're most excited about delivering in the next couple of weeks that will make holding earning with GBlue even more powerful? I'm going to talk about some alpha after I get through the questions. The vault pitch is auto compounding GBlue E strategies on Abstract. Please tell us about. What is actually being compounded? LP fees only, incentive, bribes, rebase effects, or a combination? Which part are deterministic versus market dependent? So again, the vault is just a layer that's built on top of regular LP staking. So you have the GBlue token, which is automatically earning rebases. That's happening no matter what, right, to all GBlue. So that just is basically making the value of GBlue go up slowly over time. Anything that's you're staking LPs, the rewards are ABX tokens. If you're in the vault, you're still earning ABX tokens, not directly, because the vault is automatically taking those ABX tokens and using it to build a bigger vault position, which benefits everybody in the vault, right? And probably one of the easiest ways to see that is either on Dune. That's this blue line here. You can see when we launched, the LP vault ratio was basically exactly 1, and now it's at 1.115. So just by being in the vault over the last 15 days, you've not only had your LP increase in value from 300 to 420, you've also gained an additional 11.5% just by your actual position increasing in size. And that's purely coming from ABX rewards on staked LPs. So again, in a protocol like Aborian, the LP fees are going to the voters, right? So when you stake LPs, you're earning ABX tokens. And in exchange for that, essentially, you're giving up the LP fees, but those are then going, they're basically stored in a contract and they're used for the next week's voting as voting rewards. And speaking of that, I mean, our volume's starting to do a lot better. Hopefully soon I'll be able to not have to bribe quite as much as I've been bribing. I think we had $13,000 worth of bribes last epoch. And, I'm going to keep the APRs high for you guys. So I'll keep bribing whatever I need to get us quality emissions. But yeah, I mean, as volume picks up, it is a V2 pool, but we've custom set the fee rate on it to 1%. So that's helping us generate more fees to help get us more votes. And, speaking of that, I think this is our highest volume day. Yeah. highest volume day so far. So yeah, that's, you know, over $200 in fees we've generated today. That's going to go to voters on the GBlue gauge. Hope that answered your question. I need more fresh capital. We all do, my man. How is Vault APY calculated? It's basically just it's just based on the actual gauge APR. So this is, you know, this is what you'll earn if you stake your LPs. This is what you'll earn in ABX. The vault is using the exact same gauge. It's earning the exact same ABX, but because of the fact that it compounds multiple times per day, when you look at what your gains would be over the course of a year, you know, you're always earning on a slightly higher amount every single time a compound happens, right? So, you know, for example, on this position here, which is, you know, it's just shy of $17,000, it's gaining $3,500 a month. So that means that next month I'd be earning on, you know, over $20,000. So when you factor in that you're always earning on a higher amount as time passes, that's basically the, you know, the logic that goes into figuring out the APY. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward, like, compound interest calculator type formula. But if that's not clear, let me know. I've already answered that. Are you going to launch on Solana? Interesting question. I mean, I'm more of an EVM guy personally, but I don't know. I mean, if Layer 0 and Stargate have the right infrastructure in place, I mean, there's nothing really stopping us from adding Solana here and allowing USDC deposits, as long as I'm able to essentially process USDC bridge transactions and attach the necessary logic to make that all happen. I don't see why not. But I haven't looked into it too deep, so I would definitely have to verify that that's possible. But if possible, yeah, I think that'd be great to have an additional chain that we can get inflows into Abstract from. I think we keep getting the same question posted over and over. What are the plans for the treasury? To keep building it bigger and bigger. I mean, you know, when we have, you know, expenses that we can use to benefit the project, whether that be marketing expenses or, you know, I mean, right now, a lot of the treasury is being used to just earn additional yield, right? So going back to this, you know, again, this is the protocol in position. You know, it's earning $400 a day just in the LP staking, and it's got a pretty healthy vault position too that keeps growing. So for now, we're looking to just grow the treasury and be able to generate as much revenue with treasury assets. And that's why I'm so focused on building the Abstract side of the treasury, because what it's able to earn here is just it's unbeatable. So what's the best way for degen? Zap, by the way, love you. Love from Foku. Best way to zap, or best way for degens? You know, I think for most people, yeah, just zapping in is your best bet, right? It's, you know, pretty much you just the two main things you need to decide between is, do you want to auto compound, or do you want to, you know, manually handle your rewards? I think for most degens, or most guys that are bullish on ABX, like I am, and like a lot of the guys in our community are, I think probably the manual farm is the better option that you'll find on the Earn tab. And again, to enter into that easily, just head over to the Zap tab. You can zap in ETH. It'll give you an estimate. You can auto stake it to the gauge. So you can basically just have a bunch of ETH and just zap in, and you will be farming immediately in one transaction. So pretty cool stuff. But yeah, I'd say that's your best bet. Although I didn't ask what chain that you're on. I mean, if you're on, you can basically accomplish a lot of the same stuff from any of these chains. If you're okay with using the vault, and again, the vault's great. It doesn't give you ABX tokens directly. So depending on what you're looking to do, but yeah, I mean, it's if you're a guy that's you know, used to base chain, and you can just zap, or you can deposit USDC, and you know, you're going to be entering the vault, and it's, you know, almost identical to entering right directly on Abstract. So a lot of ways to enter. Like the new cut. Thanks, man. What is happening with the bond market? Any new bonds coming up in the future? Also, can bonds be multi-chain? Update on that coming a bit later in the AMA. But I mean, just to give a quick bonding update, the bonds have been doing great. I mean, the discounts are really healthy. You don't want the discounts getting too big. It shows like a lack of confidence in the price, right? Because when you bond, your tokens are locked up for 5 days. So when people are willing to buy bonds with a smaller discount, it means that they're confident that the price is not going to drop over those 5 days. So this is the highest I've seen the discounts in the last day or so. So we're really maintaining a low discount, which I know a lot of you guys probably prefer to see a bigger discount, but it's a lot healthier for the protocol to have a smaller discount. I mean, it's really more bullish for the project in general. It just shows a lot more confidence in the project, more confidence in the price of the token. And also it's more beneficial for the protocol in that we get more funds in, for example, in the ETH bond, right now it's, 58 cents per bond. With this discount, if people were waiting for a 10% discount before they started bonding, the price of the bond would be lower. So we're generating more treasury assets, when people are bonding with smaller discounts. So overall, bonding is going great, and we're definitely going to introduce new markets. There's a big appetite for bonds, and we have enough inflows and buy pressure that the guys that are bonding, and then a lot of guys that bond, they'll zap in with their GBlue after, or some of them will sell to start bonding some more. So, in the past, that's caused some downward price movement, but, we've got enough momentum and positive things going on and catalysts coming up that, having these bond markets hasn't hurt our price whatsoever. So I think, overall it's going great, and we'll definitely keep having bond markets active. I got 2 questions on the abstract side, then I'll move forward with some alpha that I got for you guys. If GBlue were to suddenly see tens of thousands of users, what failure points might emerge in the smart contracts, rebasing, staking rewards, or infrastructure? And how does the protocol stay reliable under that stress? I mean, these smart contracts are all, the vault contract is something that I built myself, but I've got, 4 or 5 years building these types of contracts. But I mean, the contracts all scale to hundreds of thousands of users, millions of users. That's not a problem at all. We use cloud-based infrastructure for everything that we host. So, I really don't foresee any problem whatsoever, no matter how many, I shouldn't say no matter how many, but I mean, tens of thousands of users wouldn't be a problem. I mean, I might get a bigger bill at the end of the month from some of our cloud services, but that's perfectly fine. Next question. What's your vision for Blue Protocol in the next 6 to 12 months to solidify its position in the DeFi space? I mean, everything that we're doing right now is working, right? I'm building at a rapid pace. I'm, keep, giving you guys more things to do, more ways to earn. So I think, we just keep doing what we're doing. And, again, I'm about to talk about a few things that are going to be coming up in the near future. So, I think ultimately, I guess just to answer your question directly, we need to make everything easier to understand and easier to use. I need to keep building. I need to keep improving the offerings, and we need to, just, get more eyes on the project and, more partnerships, work closer with Abstract and Aborian and any other project that, wants to work with us. We're always happy to talk and figure out how we can collaborate. But I'll assure you guys one thing. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to make sure that this is the project of 2026. I mean, it's already shaping up great, but there's so much more we can do. There's so much better we can make it. And I'm excited to build it for you guys. All right. So let's hold off on you guys can keep asking questions, but I'm going to try to get through some of the content here, and I'll maybe answer the rest of the questions at the end. So, a couple major things coming up in the near future. So one thing that I've already kind of lightly touched on this already in the AMA, but I'm actually in discussions with a really high-end branding expert and designer. What I'm looking to do with that is, and again, I'm still figuring out the exact plan, but it's clear that I've had a lot of guys review the protocol, and the main disconnect right now is a lot of it's too technical. There's too much jargon. It's not simple enough to understand for the average consumer, and Abstract being the consumer chain. We really needed to just be like a magic box where you put USDC in, or you zap in and you watch the money go up. You can exit whenever you want. That's the simplicity that we need to offer. And I think GBlue website was a step in the right direction, but I think it's still a little bit too technical for the average person. Um, so I'm debating, like I'm in active discussions, and I'm going to be getting this work started in the immediate future. I'm just figuring out. I'm kind of on the fence. I'm somewhat on the fence about, do we release like a new site that is like just ultra simple? At first, I kind of like that idea, but now I'm thinking maybe we just rework the GBlue site a little bit to just make it the site that's like the ultimate landing site that's incredibly simple to use, incredibly simple to understand, none of the technical jargon, but then, having that extra information available, through a few extra clicks, whether that be like advanced stats or, some kind of menu item. But like, having, for example, having everything available on the homepage, like, I've looked at a lot of the, protocols that have billions in TVL or hundreds of millions. And, I see the simplicity that they have in their dApps. And I think that's, a really critical thing to have for mass user participation. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be getting a full branding package from an incredibly talented branding and graphics designer, and we're going to figure out the best way to make that happen. Because again, like what we have right now, it's working really well. But a lot of my community has been in DeFi for the last couple of years, and this stuff they're all kind of familiar with it, or if they're not, at least it makes sense to them. We need to figure out like the next 10, 20, 50, 100,000 users. How do we get them in? And we get them in by giving them something that's easier to use and understand. So that's really a big priority. And I know for a fact we're going to knock that out of the park with a rebranding and just an overhaul on the UI UX. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have any feedback on the site, like, if anything is like confusing for you guys, or like you see any like easy wins about like a way that something can be changed to make it easier to understand, or if like any of you guys that visited the site for the first time and like there was just some kind of disconnect that like you didn't understand something, you didn't know where to go, you didn't anything like that, I'd love to get that kind of feedback just to, for one, I might be able to just implement something to make it better, right away, or I might put that into our plans for our major overhaul that's coming soon. So definitely drop me that feedback. Actually, real quick, let me just make sure that I got my colleague Nick watching the comments to help me with picking a best one at the end. All right. All right, Nick's on it. Of course he's on it. Okay, let's proceed. So yeah, I mean that's I don't know how, like, again, for a lot of you guys that are experienced with DeFi and experienced with GBlue, a UI improvement might not be super exciting for you, but it should be super exciting for you, because if this allows us to bring in the next 10, 20,000 users, it's going to be really good for your bags. So I'm really excited about this. I know the impact of this is going to be massive. And yeah, this is something that I'm getting the ball rolling on it right now. And probably we can start to see some results from this in the next week or two. Again, like I work at a certain pace and other people work at a more normal pace. So I'm not sure how long some of this stuff is going to take to get done, but I'm definitely on top of it, and I'll be keeping you guys updated as always. So a couple more pieces of alpha I've got for you guys. So the next one is a major one. It's something that's I'm still figuring out all the details around it, but something that I definitely want to do, something that I have a lot of experience doing in the past, and something that I know if we do it right, it will absolutely send GBlue like you guys wouldn't believe. Any guesses? No guesses yet. All right. Let me just tell you guys. So the GBlue ETH vault, the vault, when you enter a vault position, you get a receipt token, right? And when you hold the vault token on another chain, that's also a receipt token. So I know it shows differently on DeBank, but like this same OG Blue, if you bridge this over to Abstract, um, you basically just have a token that represents your vault position on Abstract. And that's what you're seeing right here. It doesn't show it as a token, but this is just an ERC20 token that represents your vault position. So I'm in the process of figuring out the best way to let people borrow against their GBlue ETH vault positions. So let's break that down a little bit. Firstly, what does that mean for users? It means that if you are in the GBlue ETH vault, you're already super happy because your vault position's growing, the value of your LP is growing, you're already making good money. But what if on top of that, you need access to some capital or a lot of different reasons you might want to borrow. But if you can use that position to borrow a stable coin against it, that allows for so many more possibilities. For one, like a lot of guys are going to want to loop and build a bigger position with borrowed capital. Other guys, maybe a sudden expense came up or some opportunity came up and they really don't want to sell their GBlue ETH position for good reason. So why not take a safe loan against it? Right? Why not just borrow a little bit of USDC against it and maintain all your exposure? You still get all the benefits of being in the vault, all the benefits of the rewards and everything, but being able to borrow USDC against it. So there's a couple different ways I can do that. And I'm just exploring, I've got a lot of experience with lending protocols. I will say the last, the last lending, protocol I put up there, while the protocol worked perfectly, we did have some issues with liquidations and cascading liquidations. And so that's like the number one priority for me when I build this and implement this is, preventing a situation like that where we could have cascading liquidations. And there's a lot of different reasons why this will be different from those problems that we've had in the past. And I'll go through that real quick. Sorry if this is too technical for some of you guys, but firstly, let's talk about the collateral. The collateral, for one, is a yield-bearing token in itself. It's a vault token that it's compounding 8 times a day. So every 3 hours, it's worth more and more LP, right? So again, the vault share started off as 1 token equaled 1 LP token. Now in just 2 weeks, 1 vault token is worth 1.11. You got an 11% increase in the size of your LP over just 2 weeks. So having a token that's a yield-bearing token as collateral is great. It's always increasing in value. Plus, the other thing is this is not a single token that you're using as collateral. This is a vault position, which the underlying asset is an LP. LPs cushion prices, right? So if GBlue has a crazy move, obviously if GBlue goes up, that just increases the value of your LP, of course. But if GBlue, had a pullback, the LP sees a lot less of that price move than the actual GBlue token. So it makes using the vault and therefore the LP a much more stable, reliable form of collateral that's not subject to wild price moves. And then the extra layer of safety on top of that is that we would do this with a really low liquidation loan to value, right? So we're not going to let you borrow 90% of the value of your LP. We'll probably do something like ultra conservative, I don't know, 30, 40%, something around there. So when you combine all those factors of a very low LTV with a very stable collateral that's increasing in value, it really does address a lot of those issues related to potential cascading liquidations. It doesn't fully eliminate them, but that's the main priority with implementing a lending solution would be to ensure that nothing like that can happen, or it's very unlikely for something like that to happen. And ultimately, again, I've already said this earlier in the AMA, but I feel that GBlue ETH LP is one of the best risk reward ratio opportunities in all of crypto. Now, to add an extra utility on top of it where you can borrow against that, I don't know, guys, that just, it's next level. Not sure how many other ways I can put it. Fangu says we love leverage. I don't know if too many guys are saying that after 2025, but yeah, safe leverage with solid collateral. Yeah, definitely. Got another comment here uh, from Chachi. Kona, also Abstract, runs a lending and borrowing market for Pengu and others. Perhaps they would be interested in adding GBlue Vault receipts to this market. Um, yeah, perhaps. I mean, I think I'm a little bit more aligned with Aborian. So I think for one, it'd be something where I'm either going to implement something, completely standalone for GBlue, or if I'm going to work with any of the protocols on Abstract that are in that field, I'm going to be working closely with Aborian on stuff like that. All right, we got a lot of comments about guys that are pumped about the alpha I just dropped. Love to see it. Fangu says, so if I have an LP position on Aborian, it will show up on GBlue site as well when I connect my AGW. Yep, 100%. And I'll show you that again. Right, so I'm on the liquidity page of Aborian, and we're just waiting for this to load. And there's my position, 63K. Again, this is the protocol wallet. This is not my wallet, but 63K there. And if we head over here to the earn page, so just keep it. I think this is one thing that confuses people that I have to fix, is that the earn page is basically the equivalent of regular LP staking on Aborian. So you'll see I have the exact same position here. You just get a few extra stats and a few extra abilities. I mean, deposit and withdraw LP, of course, you can do that right on Aborian too. But of course, we also have zap in and zap out. So you can zap into a position and auto stake it, which is pretty cool. And this is using the Aborian router. So it's very deeply integrated with Aborian. All right, that's that was the update about lending. Anybody have any questions about that? And again, it's still in the early thoughts. I mean, I got a lot of experience with lending protocols in the past, so I'm just exploring what the very best option would be that's going to be the safest and give users the best experience possible without any unnecessary risk. Fangu says I'll have to check out the site and play around. Yeah, definitely. Let me know if you have any feedback. Says, thanks for your time today. It's my pleasure, man. I do these every Thursday. I mean, maybe I'll start streaming even more often, but you can definitely catch me every single Thursday at 1800 UTC. So next thing I got for you guys, and again, if you guys have any questions or comments about what I've been talking about, feel free to drop them into the chat. I will get to them. But something else that I'm looking at doing is bonding on Abstract. So we offer bonding on BNB chain already. And for anyone that's not familiar with what that is, I kind of briefly went over it already, but it's basically you're buying blue at a discount, and it gets vested over a 5-day period. So basically, this is just an exercise to essentially build the protocol treasury, which allows it to have more reserves and generate more revenue, and that's ultra beneficial for the future for the protocol. Lots of the things that we can do with the treasury, like I know, for example, Olympus DAO, I believe they had like reverse bonds at a point. So like if we start seeing downward price movement, we can have the opposite of our current bond markets, which is we can give out treasury assets in return for blue or GBlue, right? So like basically, like that basically sets like a price floor, because the protocol is willing to pay you X amount per token, at like in a reverse bond. So, yes, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we can do with treasury assets, but yeah, I'm exploring how the best way to implement bonding on Abstract so that you can do these same things right on Abstract. So, for example, getting GBlue at a 3, 4, 5, 10% discount in exchange for Ethereum or USDC, or maybe GBlue ETH LPs, or we can set it up anyway. Hey, Fiat Hater, what's up, buddy? Late to the party, missed the alpha. Time for a replay. Yeah, man, go for it. A lot of good content in this AMA so far. We got a question on the abstract portal side. Is there a contract address for the vault token? You bet. If you pop over to the, well, I mean, we got it in quite a few places, but if you pop over to the vault site, which is vault.gblue.xyz, or if you're on any of our sites, you can always access it in this dropdown. Or if you click on any of these chains here, this is always going to bring you to the vault site. But on the main page of the vault site, we've got a list of contracts right down here. So these are all of our abstract contracts. So the vault, this is the vault contract right here. This is the zapper that we use to facilitate zap-ins for cross-chain deposits or for zap-ins into the vault on abstract itself. Composer handles a bunch of the cross-chain logic when something's happening, you know, originating from another chain. This is the contract that basically receives the message, handles the zap, sends the vault tokens back over to the other chain. Share OFT adapter. This is essentially the bridge contract for the vault tokens. So every single vault token that's on another chain, it's living in this bridge contract. So for example, if there's 40 vault tokens on other chains, the exact balance of this contract would be 40 vault tokens. So like it's impossible for anybody to have a vault token that doesn't exist on abstract. It's always like abstract is the hub, it's the source of truth. So it's, you know, it holds the entire vault position on abstract, but it's securely locked away in the bridge when it exists on another chain. And then of course we got the GBlue address and the LP. And then also we got the addresses for all of the vaults that are on, these are basically the vault shares that are on the other chains. So this would be like the equivalent of having the vault on abstract. This is like the equivalent on those other chains. It's like this can be bridged, you know, I'll show you that quick. You know, if you want to bridge from base to abstract, you just, you know, put however many shares you want to bridge, and this will directly bridge 5 shares from base to abstract. And you can do this very cheaply. Let's see what the estimate is. 40 cents. So not bad. Could probably optimize that a little bit, but we got a comment. I think the bond market is not showing because all my GBlue is on abstract. Okay, so yeah, I know that's a little bit confusing. We actually have a different menu that shows on this site depending on which chain you're connected to. So for one, if you use AGW, you can't change chains. So you would need to use a wallet that's capable of using all the different EVM chains. But yeah, if you're on the abstract chain, you're not going to see bonds in the menu. If you switch over to BNB, you get a couple different options here, and bonding will be one of the options. I guess actually for anyone that's never seen this, like one of the things that I'm super proud of that I've built is this ARB tool here. Can't have a stream without showing this off real quick, but basically what this is it uses a lot of the same tech that we use for like the cross-chain deposits, and the same tech that we use for all of our bridging, like bridging GBlue between BNB and abstract, or bridging the vault shares around. What this does is, you know, for one, it shows you where it's cheaper to buy. So again, just a little bit more history for anyone that might be new. On BNB chain, we have liquidity on the blue token, but because of the staking index, you know, there's like roughly 21 blue tokens it takes to make 1 GBlue token. So to manually arbitrage between the chains, you've got to, you know, for example, if you're buying on abstract, you'd have to buy GBlue, you'd have to bridge it to BNB chain, you'd have to unstake it for blue, and then you could sell it, and then you can profit. You know, you have to do the same thing in reverse if you're buying on BNB chain. You'd have to buy the blue, stake it, bridge it, then sell it on abstract. Well, with this tool, you don't have to do any of that. 2.19% is not going to leave much room for profit, just because there is swap fees on the pools, and because, you know, obviously we're doing, this is like USDC in, USDC out, and the GBlue LP is a 1% fee LP. So if you know, basically if you factor in all the different swap fees, I think it needs to be around 1.8 or 1.9% to just like start to break even. But what you can do here is just, for one, you pick which chain you want to start from, which obviously you'd want to start from the one that says best, and you just put in an amount of USDC. So, you know, let's just say I put 10. So you can see right now, even though it's only a 2.19% difference, you know, I can make an 8-cent profit, you know, Is that worth it with the bridge costs? No, it's not. But it's this quote is actually super accurate. Like this is basically checking, how much GBlue I'm going to get for 10 USDC, and then it's taking that and saying, okay, well now if I'm BNB chain, I take that 10 GBlue, unstake it, and sell that exact quantity of blue in the blue LP. What will the output be? So it's fully factoring in the staking index. It's factoring in price impact. It's factoring in everything. The one thing it can't factor in is that because this is a cross-chain transaction, and everything happens automatically, there is a chance that like if I were to start this ARB transaction, there's a chance that somebody could like sell on BNB chain before my sell goes through as part of this automation. So that's why, as much as this is ultra accurate in terms of what output you should get, if somebody else does a trade on the destination chain before yours, it's going to change. It obviously can make that different than what it shows. But that's why we do have this safety in place, so you can set a minimum. So, so for example, if right now it's estimating that I'm going to get 104 USDC, if I put this to 104, if my output on BNB chain is going to be less than 104 USDC, it's going to actually send me GBlue instead of the USDC. So you got that safeguard to kind of protect yourself there. But yeah, this is an incredible tool for arbing between chains. And you can kind of just see how it works here. I know this is probably more technical than most people care about, but this is all the stuff that happens automatically when you submit a transaction, right? So buying GBlue on Abstract, moves the GBlue to BNB chain, converts the GBlue to blue, sells the blue for USDC, and then it sends you USDC on BNB chain. And then it does the same thing in reverse if you switch chains. So pretty cool stuff. A lot of guys are taking advantage of this. I still see some guys that are arbitraging manually. Not sure why in the world you do that when this tool exists, but to each their own, I guess. But yeah, definitely, if you ever see a price difference between the chains, I'd suggest giving this tool a try. I should say for AGW users, you can't use this because it's sending you, if you're wanting to buy an Abstract, it's going to send you USDC on BNB chain, and AGW users can't access their wallet address on other chains. So we have safeguards in place to prevent you from using this if you're using AGW. So just keep that in mind. You're going to want to use a regular EOA wallet for that. Well, I got really off track. I'm not sure why I started talking about ARBs, but yeah, we were talking about bonding. That's right. So yeah, looking into bonding on Abstract to further build the treasury and to get the treasury so it's able to build up more and more income to just keep compounding the size of the treasury to really have a lot of resources to do whatever we need to do to take blue to the next level, and GBlue, of course. Let's see what else I got for you guys today. I was going to show you guys the protocol position and what we've built up so far. I think I've already kind of showed you guys that, but I mean, this started at nothing, well, almost nothing, just a few short weeks ago. But with our bonding markets and how well they've been doing, and actively entering positions on Abstract and the value of those positions going up and earning ABX and building the VE ABX position, we've built this up. I think there might be I think there's maybe $6,000 roughly that's not part of the Abstract side. So we've pretty much built it up to $100,000 in terms of what's earning for us on Abstract in just in a few short weeks. So this is going to keep growing. That's what the bond markets are primarily being used for. So while they might cause a little bit of sell pressure here and there, the fact that we have these active bond markets, the benefits that it's offering to the protocol vastly outweighs any sell pressure that we've been getting there. And at the same time, our community is getting to pick up some blue at a discount. So that's a nice benefit for the community members that are partaking in that aspect of the protocol. But yeah, I mean, like 18 grand worth of vault tokens that are on other chains. Let me go back to super zoomed in here. Actually, it's probably better for me to just show this on the GBlue site. Actually, you know what? This is a good time to show the bot, actually. So we've got a bot in our Telegram, and it does lots of stuff. So what we're actually looking at right now is like the Telegram mini app of the bot. Most of the bot functionality you get just by interacting with the bot, like you would a typical Telegram bot. So you just, you can send it commands in our group. We've got a whale group now, actually. So anybody that has VIP status, actually, I guess let me rewind a little bit. What you can do with the GBlue bot essentially is you can connect your wallet to the GBlue bot, and it will do all kinds of stuff for you. It will track your positions. it will give you a tier within the GBlue bot, which comes with all kinds of different perks. So you can see we've got 52 guys that have already connected up their wallet. And these are the different tiers that you can be in. And yeah, I mean, most of the perks are coming around VIP, which is, it just requires 500 points, which is it's pretty obtainable if you take advantage of some of the different things that you can do to build up your tier. So for example, just connecting a wallet gives you 100 points. Connecting an AGW wallet gives you a 100-point bonus. So you're already at 200. And it just takes having like $100 position on each of our spoke chains to get 50 points each towards that. So, I mean, that right there for under $500, you can start to get into this tier if you really try. Or you can just get there by having, so this says VE ABX power. I got to fix the wording of that. This is actually votes on the GBlue pool. So when you vote on GBlue, the bot tracks it and you get points towards your tier. Of course, your vault balance and GBlue balance, this is all US dollar based. So, the more you have, the higher your tier. But yeah, again, I mean, VIP tier gets most of the benefits. You can enter the whale room just by being VIP tier. You can DM the bot for private. There's a bunch of stuff you can do with the bot, like tracking your positions. It'll tell you it'll tell you how much rewards you have available. For example, I got, I just claimed this and there's already $40 worth of rewards available. That's awesome. Showing me my VE ABX positions. It's showing me all my multi-chain stuff. Yeah, it's just bot's pretty. Oh yeah, there's just so much to talk about. I keep forgetting about stuff. We also have a competition going on. Anyone that buys GBlue or does a cross-chain deposit, they're getting tickets. We got 150 GBlue in prizes, and this ends in 3 days. So one of the other advantages of having a tier is that the tiers have different ticket multipliers. So the higher your tier, the more tickets you're going to get. So you get one ticket for every $10 that you deposit or that you use to buy GBlue. So you can see our leaderboard here, and you can see how many tickets everybody has. I've got 120. And yeah, and that multiplier is in real time. So this is all calculated on the fly. So you could, for example, you can acquire a position right now, even without your wallet connected. And then once you connect your wallet, it's going to be aware of your position. And then, once you tier up, if you tier up before the competition ends, you're going to have the full multiplier of whatever your tier is when the competition ends. So you don't have to set all this up in advance. You could set this up afterwards. Right. And again, a lot of people are probably going to need to buy positions in order to tier up. So yeah, you don't have to worry about, all the money that you use or all the transactions that you do to build up your position will count towards the competition and towards tickets. Oh, we got a question. Where can I find the bot? So, I mean, I guess one easy way is you can just go to bot.gblue.xyz. That's if you're not signed in with Telegram, it's going to tell you to sign in with Telegram. Or it's also all over our Telegram group. So our Telegram group is Blue BNB XYZ. Might need to update that since we're pretty much focused on abstract now, but I'll throw a couple links into the chat for you guys. So this is the Blue BNB Telegram that I'm putting in there right now, and I'll directly put a link to the bot as well. I spell that right? GBlue XYZ bot. Oh, that looks good. Oh no, wow, I'm bad. I already fixed 2 mistakes in that, and there was still one more. GBlue XYZ bot. Yeah. Oh, oops. I think I sent that over. All right. So yeah, that's how you can access the bot. Or again, you can go to bot.gblue.xyz and find it there. I mean, it's not really meant to be accessed in the web like this. I'm just doing it like this to show you guys. This is it's meant to be a Telegram mini app. That's how most people are going to use this. And we're always adding new features to this. Like we just recently added the whale group. So now we have like an exclusive group where, we just have intelligent or fun conversations without some of the noise that, it's part of the main Telegram group. So really hope to see a bunch of you guys in the whale group. Requirements aren't too stiff on getting in there. What else do I got for you guys? One other small thing. I mean, this is not major, but I was just thinking that, with just in line with trying to improve the user experience and make things easier, I was thinking that we could probably implement like a little chat bot that's like a little widget where we can have an AI powered tool that can answer common questions and even potentially pass you off to a human if you have questions that the bot can't answer. So, thinking about the best way to implement something like that, and I've already, stuff I've done in the past, but thinking of the best way to do it here. And I'm not 100% sure I'll do that, but I think it might be pretty beneficial to have just for any new investors if they just got a question and they're on the fence about jumping in. I'd love for either AI or someone on my team to be able to give them the answer that they need right away. So, all right. Well, I think I've covered most of what I wanted to cover, and the questions seem to have dried up. Let me see what my colleague Nick thinks about the best question. I'm just looking through these suggested questions here. Mm. Oh, I think I missed a question here, actually. We got a question from Abstract Chain. Could you target the marketing to crypto VC firms to invest in GBlue platform rather than market to the masses on Abstract in the future? You could keep the protocol for experienced crypto investors. Yeah, so great question there. Not sure I missed that earlier. So I think so. Again, I've already touched on this, but like I think Abstract being the consumer chain, like I think the obvious win for us is to have something that's just accessible to everybody. And I think that, we only have 400 holders on Abstract. I think we can get that number into the 5 digits. I know we can get that number into the 5 digits. So I think that's what we need to go after first. I mean, I'm always willing to talk to larger investors. I think that what we got is awesome. I think that we're building a lot of liquidity. We had a $10,000 zap in last night, and the price didn't change that much. I mean, I know you guys are probably seeing a lot of different, coins that are, if it's a under 500,000 market cap, a $10,000 injection would, probably double the price. We had like a 5% move or something like that. So, we definitely are building up liquidity that can get bigger investors and guys like VCs and stuff interested. So always looking to improve the protocol any way that we possibly can and get as many investors in as possible. What is the Abstract tier requirement for the bot? So for the bot, just connecting an AGW wallet will get the 50 points or the 100 points. For the Abstract tier, this is like if you're like bronze, silver, gold, you get a slightly higher bonus depending on what you are. Actually, something cool that I'm going to add. I was checking out one of the other Abstract portal dApps on display, and I noticed they had something neat where you could upvote the dApp from right within their site. So I'm thinking that I'll integrate that into the bot where you can, there'll be a link somewhere around here where you can upvote GBlue to push us up higher. Do I have the portal open? Yeah. So, we're over on the trading page. We're not as high as I'd like to be. So I was thinking that, I could just build this into the GBlue bot and just have people upvote us, and that could give them a little boost to their score. So that would probably help get us a lot more votes. But while I'm here, if you haven't upvoted Blue on the Abstract portal, definitely go ahead and favorite it and give it an upvote. Go Birds! Although that was a pretty rough game. Don't want to talk about it. It's always next year. Can't win the Super Bowl every year, I guess. All right, I gotta find a question. So yeah, if you guys have any final questions or comments, now would be a good time to ask, just while I try to figure out who has the best question. And to be honest, I'm trying to pick ones that don't. Some of them seem like they were asked just to try to win and not really looking for information. I'm looking for an actual genuine comment or question. Mm, it's tough. Sorry, guys. I'm just reading through this list of questions here. Oh, I accidentally scrolled too high up. I was looking at questions from last stream. Oops. All right. You know what? Nick just gave me one that I like. It's not a question. And you guys did have a lot of great questions, and I was really happy to answer them all. But I want to go with something that's a little bit more natural. So we're going to go with, actually, I'll put this on the screen so you guys can see. Let me just find it. And Nick sent me the question, but I'm trying to find it here in the list. I guess I could probably search. All right. The one that I picked is, gotta find it again. This one right here, just Fangu said, I'm planning to just LP GBlue and V2 and just use my voting to vote for GBlue. And Nick liked this one. I think this one's it's an organic comment, and it's just the definition of the flywheel. Jump into the V2 LP, earn that ABX. Fangu already, he knows all about locking ABX, so I don't have to tell him. But yeah, lock up that ABX, vote for GBlue. It's the perfect definition of the flywheel. So congratulations. I'm going to send you 20 GBlue right now. Give you a little start on getting your position set up. Let me get that sent right now. Let me make sure I got the right wallet. Yep. Let me just triple check that. Don't usually check this often, but okay. Yeah, that is the right one. 20 GBlue, $260 value. All right. You should have that now. Congratulations on that win. All right. Let's see if there's any other questions that rolled in. No other questions on Abstract. And let's see what we got on the regular stream. Is the Abstract wallet the gem wallet? Don't know what you mean by that. When is St. Aaron's Day? Where we dye the rivers blue. Congrats. Fangu just noticed he was a winner. So said thank you. Just waiting for Dip to buy, but thank you for that. You bet, man. You had some great questions, and I feel like they were pretty organic questions. I mean, I really appreciate all the questions that we got today. Some of them felt like they were kind of geared towards just trying to win and not too genuine. So for next, I think we'll keep doing these competitions. So just try to keep the questions genuine, and you'll have a much higher chance of winning. Again, no, I definitely do appreciate all the comments and questions that we got, and it was super tough to pick a winner, but Nick helped me guide me in the right direction, and I think those tokens went to a good place. All right, any closing questions, guys? I thought the stream wasn't going to be as long as last week's, but we're almost an hour and 40 minutes now. So last week's was 2 hours. Eventually, we'll get back to half an hour to hour-long streams, but got too much to talk about nowadays. I'll give it a couple more seconds, see if any last-minute questions or comments come in. Of course, you guys know you guys can always find me in the community. Best way to find me is just in the Telegram. So head over to the Blue Telegram, and even better yet, get VIP status and head over to the Whale Room. Even better to catch me in there. All right, guys. Well, I think that's about it. Thanks everybody for joining. We had pretty good participation today. I'm not sure how many we have on Abstract right now. We got 6 watching on Abstract. We've been hovering around 80 to 90 watching on YouTube and on X. So thanks everyone for joining in. Thanks for everybody for the interaction, the feedback, the questions, the comments. And yeah, I'm really excited to bring Blue and GBlue to the next level with you guys. And I'll keep doing whatever I got to do to make that happen. So see you guys next week, and see you guys around the community. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys.